Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. This is going to be going live and in charge with. Welcome to the broadcast. We are live on TikTok and on Facebook at the same time. How? Magical technology, man. Magical technology. So there you go. All right. So welcome to the broadcast, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. And, today's title, Having Some Fun. Having some fun with life, with artwork, with going down memory lane, with military videos and things like that. Especially when you're trying to clear up hard drives and you want to get rid of stuff that you don't need anymore. It just takes a hot minute. Make sure my mic is on here, and it is. But again, welcome to the broadcast, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. And you too can get one of the shirts that I'm wearing right here. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin shirt right here, right here. You can get one of those if you would like. You can just hit me up in the DMs and you can order directly from me on my artwork. Got a lot of shirts available. I do not have them in here like I did the last time, but just know we have a lot of shirts that are available. And we also have comic books available of my covers for the job number 3, the variant edition, right here, based off the painting that I did for this cover about as he puts it, Mr. Patrick Hickey Jr. He puts it as Point Break meets, what did he say? See, I can't remember what he said on that. I'm sorry, buddy. I do apologize. I can't remember. Point Break meets wrestling, basically, is what it boils down to, WWE. But we've been picking up a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to do some modifications with as well. Picked up a creepy little antique doll. I can't say how antique she is. I haven't looked for a date or anything like that. But what makes her creepy is she has no eyes. And she's a music box at the same time. So as I posted on here that I hope she is haunted, and a lot of people are posting sorry, on the video. But it's one of my most watched videos out there because it does have the paranormal and all that stuff on it, hashtagged in it. And the weird thing was with this doll, and I'm going to pull her up here in just a second, was that whenever I was taking the picture to send to the girlfriend who was at the other side of the store, whenever the camera switched camera views on it, it looked like she had eyeballs for a split second in the picture. I wish I would have been recording or double clicking the camera button or whatever. But, she's already creepy enough since she doesn't have any eyeballs in her head. And then you hear she is a music box. I'll wind her up. But she has no eyeballs in her head. None at all. So that makes her creepy enough. And I'm going to add some new creepy stuff to it. Like she's going to have some black roses in her hand instead of just this. And so, I'm going to make it a creepy aspect and put her in my library with my other creepy collection of stuff. And, give her some distress and things like that. But I didn't notice that either. She got little spots around her eyeballs that I didn't notice before either. But it's all good. It's all cool. I also picked up a tablet at the same place that I picked that up at for next to nothing. It is a Gammon GP or PD 1561, I believe is the nomenclature for it. And we don't talk politics here. Whoever just asked that question about Ukraine and Russia and all that stuff, we don't do politics here. You can go find another platform for that. This is artwork. This is paranormal. This is spooky stuff. This is creepy. This is cryptid. This is my artwork for sale or commissions that you want to buy from me. you can come hit me up. We don't do politics or religion here. So, but this is a massive tablet right here. Bum, bum, bum. It does have a kickstand on the back right there, so you can set it up at a 90-degree angle from 0 to 90 degrees. But this thing is a monster, and I'm missing one element to make it work on the computer, and that's an HDMI adapter. I thought I had one running around here, but I couldn't find it yet. So I've already got one on order. It'll be here Thursday. I know today is Wednesday the 20th, and I've got a couple of things showing up. One for my truck. Found out my starter's not working right on the truck, which is cool. I can get that fixed easy as long as I can get the rusted bolts off. But that's a $250 tablet I got for $25 at a store called Savers here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And so I'm hoping to get it up and running whenever I get that adapter here on Thursday, so I can have some fun. You know, taking my black and whites that I've already got and that I've already colored, you know, but I always take black and white shots of all of my artwork right off the bat. And from there, I also want to start doing my own colors instead of outsourcing it to other people. Now, of course, I want to give other people work that do the colorization for comic books and things like that. So, you know, I don't always want to do my own, but I want to do my own because I want to learn that aspect. That's something I used to do in Photoshop and things like that. But since Illustrator or Adobe has gone into the AI business, basically, it kind of robs you, the artist, of doing your own work, in my opinion. I don't like AI in the art field, period, just because, you know, AI steals from other people's works, other people's art, and calls it its own. Because I've seen it happen firsthand with a couple of mainstream artists that I'm friends with that work for DC or Marvel or Image Comics, and they've done some like Vampirella pieces. Well, the next thing you see is an exact duplicate of their piece just done in AI form. You know, someone out there, some little keyboard warrior out there, created their artwork based off in AI, based off of their actual hand drawn artwork. So that's why I can't stand AI. But I know a lot of people love it. People love that Chat GPT shit and all that, but I'm not into that. Do I use any of it? No. I don't even use the AI shit that comes on your phone now. I have it turned off. It keeps asking me, do you want to use it? Can we use it? Do you want to run it? No, I fucking don't want to run it. You can keep that shit to yourself. I know the world is going AI, and there's some good qualities to it, like detecting diseases in the future in the body, like cancer and things of that nature. You know? So, um, but with all that being said, we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff as far as using this tablet, creating this doll into a creepy masterpiece, which is going to be fun, in my opinion, anyway. I've got a lot of ideas that I want to do, you know, for it when it comes to the creep factor. You know, we are in that what people are considering the springoween or whatever it is for Halloween and October coming up. Since you're still in summer, basically, we haven't hit the fall weather yet, and already you've got the Halloween stuff, and people are ready for it. You know, I know this for a fact. I got a lot of friends that are gearing up for the Halloween season already and putting their stuff out. You know, and we've only got a couple months before Halloween hits, and then some people will keep up their Halloween decorations up until, you know, just after Christmas. You know, it's like people that keep their Christmas tree up until like February or something, and never take their Christmas lights down from their house. And it's just like, I mean, I get it. It's a lot of work, especially if you're like this one house that used to be. I don't know if they still do it in Fort Smith or not, but they did last year, I think, or maybe not as big as they did, but they might still have it. They go all out. They have like 10 different life size figures out in front of their house. They have a hearse that comes out and it's got music playing in it. Um, and then they do the same thing for Christmas. They pretty much every holiday, the major holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, all those big holidays like that. They've got a huge display going on the corner, and it's on Cliff Drive, and is that Greenwood over there? I believe that's where it is, in Fort Smith. So if you're ever in the Fort Smith area and you want to check out some cool decorations for the season, go check out their spot. Now, there are a lot of people that also do the Halloween themed stuff for, those lighted houses that play the music and all that good stuff. Well, there's some people that do that as well, here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, as well. So if you're into all that type of stuff, and I hope you are, because my house is haunted, so I'm Halloween 24/7, 7 days, 365 days a year, 7 days a week. You know, so things go bump in the night on a regular basis here. Now we do have critters that do the bumping around on some aspects, but there's some aspects that you can't get around and away from, especially whenever solid, heavy action figures fall off a shelf for no apparent reason and land straight up, like they were just sat down, but they fell off the shelf because you've seen it with your own eyes, or they flipped directly upside down and landed in between two other action figures that it shouldn't have happened that way. Because when something falls, it falls. It doesn't lift up in the air, flip upside down the right way, and slide in between two other action figures. When it falls, it goes. You know. But a little spring cleaning of the office a little bit. Had all kinds of car parts and things like that sitting in here. So it made it for a trip hazard. And us old guys with our walkers, we gotta have some room. Some days I wish I had a walker, slow me down a little bit. But like I said, walking down memory lane, going through military pictures, sending old military pictures to buddies of mine that requested some pictures that I had, from all of our time together, from our pre-deployment training to the deployment to Afghanistan, and then back again. And we run across a lot of images that set off some memories, trigger memories, and you relive some of those aspects of IED attacks and firefights and things of that nature, and brings back the ghost of the past, if you will. In the Ebenezer Scrooge aspect. All right. So, how do you guys have fun? Tell me how you guys have some fun. Me, my fun comes from, drawing things and working out in the yard and in the garden and working on, the small engine stuff that we've got going on, from the motorcycles to the mini bikes we just picked up to the lawnmower we're still trying to get, the riding mower is still trying to get going. But we'll get it. We'll get that going. We're almost to the point of getting this mini bike figured out. But I've got to weld the brackets back on the frame of the motorcycle itself so that the engine stays where it's supposed to. Because whoever had these things, whenever they bought them new, they're Coleman mini bikes, and they trashed them. I mean, they trashed them big time. And it's sad because they're still good bikes. We are definitely going to have to get another engine for one of them. But that's not a big deal. They're relatively cheap over at Harbor Freight here in town. Well, in Fort Smith. We're out of town. So, we're in the country-esque setting, which I love. I've got me a nice little farm going on here with the homestead and everything else. The garden, the homestead, with the chickens, the geese, the turkey, the pigs, the ducks. The koi pond with goldfish and koi and frogs. Got a bunch of bullfrogs hanging out in there. And then doing the illustration thing on a daily basis. It's a blast. Now, the pigs, not so much. They scream on a regular basis. Whenever they're ready to go get some food, they like to scream it up just a little bit. And if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you are woken up to a bunch of loud screaming. yes, they sleep in the house for now until we get them a permanent spot outside. And from there, we will, make them up a little spot. We've already got a house out there, and we're planning on doing a back porch area that's raised, because when it rains, everything floods our direction. And it's sad, really, that it does that, but that's just how the lay of the land goes. Um, because we're sloped. We're we're on a hill, and so everything that comes from that direction, which is my north, runs downhill to us, and then it runs downhill to my neighbor's house, and then it runs down to the creek, which is right, south of us. And my house runs east and west, east being behind me, where the sunrise happens, and the sun sets over here at the front door. And the the way the water runs, it runs directly into a funnel from my driveway into my backyard and then by my back door, and creates a muddy, watery mess. So we're planning on doing a little raised uh, platform back there, a back porch area, that we can get everybody off of the water when that happens, and then get the pig house up, where they can sleep outside like they have been during the day. And yeah, it's been about 107, 111 here in Arkansas over the past X amount of days. Today is supposed to be a better day. There's actually supposed to be some thunderstorms rolling in, but right now it's showing that it's 74 and clear. So I don't know when those storms are supposed to be rolling through at this point in time. So I'm not a weatherman, and I haven't watched the weather today. I'm so sorry. So, but again, buy my shirts. This is my last Ronin shirt, 412 Productions, right here. And you know what? I keep forgetting to do this. Let me take that off and flip it the right way so you get it right. And we'll look at some other shirts that I've got. This one has been my number one popular seller so far. I've sold the most of this Joker shirt so far, based off of the painting that I've got sitting over here to my right. But this one has been the most popular shirt so far. And this was actually the second Joker painting that I did. This one was the first Joker painting that I did, and it sold. The original actually sold on this one. But you can get this in shirt form as well. My girlfriend has one of these. I don't have one of these yet, but I will. And of course, you're seeing this one. This one, I put the girlfriend's on a hunter green shirt. It looks really good for the last Ronin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then we have the Chester Bennington piece right here, which I'm going to be doing an Ozzy Osbourne piece as well, painting as well, which I have this one sitting over here, which I'm kind of surprised that I still have this one in my possession. And then the girlfriend's mother got this painted, but then she also got a shirt for it, so she can wear it anytime she wants to, so she doesn't have to just carry the painting around. This is Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch. And then I've got one of these in a maroon, burgundy-esque color. This is my American Horror, based off of the 1930s painting American Gothic. And of course, it features Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. I wanted to do something a little different. And Howard the Duck. Here, this is not, the friendly duck that you see with Donald Duck and Daffy Duck and all that stuff. This is Howard the Duck, an angsty duck from Marvel, and not the CGI stuff that they have created him into be. Go read his stuff if you haven't done so before. He's kind of based off of Jack Kirby and a couple of other artists out there. Then you've got the Dexter, which Dexter Resurrection is going on right now. Really good series so far. There's a lot of twists and turns so far in it, and looking forward to seeing more of that. But my girlfriend does have a shirt of this one. We both have a shirt of this one, Terrifier, Art the Clown. I've got mine in black. She's got hers on a red. The Crow. I've got two of these shirts. I've got one in yellow and the black. So I'll be getting the girlfriend one in yellow or black, depending on which one she wants. But it's cool. A lot of people have liked this shirt as well. The Wonder Woman is another popular favorite. I've sold several of these so far. Right there. Excuse me. And this one is becoming a popular favorite. The Bad Habits, the Naughty Nun series. This is the Bad Habits because they are nuns. So that's the few. I'm about to add, I think, what did we say the other day? 17 more to this. Now, with that, on the same token, if there's a T-shirt of it, there's going to be a canvas print and a 11 by 17 print for people to purchase. So, say you go to the comic book convention that we are at. On that token, we're not going to have 50 million T-shirts available. Okay? We're going to have an order form for you, just like you would if you came to me now and said, hey, I want 3 of the Joker, I want 2 of the Crow, these sizes, and I want, 2 of the Wonder Woman shirts. Okay, I do not have them in-house, so I have to order them. It takes about a week and a half for them to get to me after I order them because they've already been established, so it's not something new. And from that point, I wait for them to get in. You've already paid me the money for the shirts. I ship them to you, and there we go. You get them within 3 to 4 business days after I receive them, which is, like I said, about a week to a week and a half, depending on what day of the week they're ordered. And I try to do one big order, at a time. That way, not everybody is waiting an extra long period of time, for shirts. So, but that's how all these will be handled in the future when it comes to the comic book shows and things like that, art shows. Everything will be on an order form for the shirts. Now, we will have shirts available to look at, but not to purchase at the show. Maybe. I mean, worst case scenario, I have 1 or 2 shirts available at the time. But just know that there will be an order form at the shows from now on for t-shirts. Because again, that's not something you want to have, like one of every size laying around, or not just one, but you'd have to have like 10 to 15 of each size laying around from small to 5X. And then you only sell like 1 of those, and then you've got an overabundance of t-shirts. So that's why there will be an order form at the comic book conventions from now on for the t-shirts that we have up for sale. And like I said, we're about to add about 17 more, so, to the list. So we're not going to have an abundance of prints like we used to. Because before, every piece of artwork that I created had a print for it in 2 different sizes, 11 by 17 and a 13 by 19 mini poster. Okay. So we're not going to be doing that anymore. 11 by 17 is going to be the only size we carry. And then, of course, the 16 by 20 canvas print, is going to be the next step on that as well. So we'll have 2 prints, 11 by 17 or the 16 by 20 canvas. So it actually looks like a piece of artwork that you're taking home. I mean, it's going to be a piece of artwork either way, 11 by 17 or the 16 by 20 canvas. But, some people like the canvas look over just a 11 by 17 piece of paper that they have to get framed and all that good stuff. Well, this is already technically framed because it's got a thick border, black border, and you just hang it on your wall. Done. You don't have to buy a frame for it. Find a frame for it like you used to have to with the 13 by 19 mini posters that we had. Because some people did like to frame those, because I got a lot of feedback and response from people, sending me their framed artwork on the walls. Now, a lot of people just put it in a binder, a portfolio, if you will, and go from there. And so, they had that portfolio with them, and then they would slide it inside there, or have it at their hotel room or at their house or whatever, whichever shows they were at, because some people do travel to, comic book conventions to get to see people that they want to see. Like at San Antonio, there were so many actors and actresses and artists and voice actors and you name it. There was tons of them there, and so people were coming from all over the place. Some people flew in, just for the San Antonio show at SpaceCon. So, you know, it is what it is with that on that endeavor. If you want to travel that far, you travel that far. You know. But yeah, no, I've been walking down memory lane with all of the military backing up of files and folders and shit like that. And it's just like you run into stuff that you forgot that you didn't remember until you started watching it again. And it's just like, holy shit, we did this. You know, that's some crazy shit right there. And it really is. I mean, who would have thought you would have spent a year overseas in Afghanistan? Getting shot at, getting IED'd, getting VBED, vehicle-borne explosives and things like that. So, yeah, it's just brings back a lot of memories. But, we're going to have a lot of fun over here on this side of the world with our tablet, our new tablet, the Gaomon tablet, the PD 1561. We do have the stylus for it, trying to get it all to work. And I think I just need the HDMI to computer cable, since this computer does not have an HDMI in the back. And so, there is that. And I'm just trying to think of what else, we want to talk about on a regular basis here. All right. No questions over here on Facebook right now. But yeah, so doing a lot of artwork right now for a lot of different people. I've got a new contract with a legit comic book company right here, Legacy Comics, and it's a new one shot that I'm going to be completely doing everything for, from the sequential pages and the cover. So that's going to be cool. One shot. I'm looking forward to doing that one. My cousin hit me up and has a book idea, some illustration ideas for a book that he's got, and then on that token, I've got another kid's book that I just finished the front and back cover for, and I'm looking forward to that one coming out because that's going to be a fun one. It's telling a friend of mine's journey through his boxing career, and from his very first fight to where he is today. And so that's going to be cool. And so I'm looking forward to that. I don't look for anything in a man. I don't go that direction, sorry. But hopefully you find what you're looking for in a man. A little weird. So, so I've got a lot of commissions coming in right now. And so I've also got another comic book in the works with a producer friend of mine, a movie producer friend of mine. And we're both in a busy stage right now. I haven't been able to focus on this book. He hasn't been able to focus on the writing, even though he's got a link for me to go and read what he's written so far. Right now, we're planning on just a one-shot for it, which I will be doing the covers and the illustration, the sequential artwork on the inside for. So, this one for Legacy Comics, the one-shot that I can't tell you much about, is going to be, one of those things that is going to put me on that sequential art pages. Because I haven't done that even for myself yet. I'm in the works of doing that for myself. The sequential art pages and things of that nature, And so I'm looking forward to this one shot that I'm working on for him as well. But I've also got a animal portrait, family pet that passed passed away that I'm working on that they're going to put with the tombstone for the family pet. So I've got a lot of stuff in the fire, you know, um, a lot of cool stuff in the fire, you know, and I'm really looking forward to everything coming down the pike. And we keep talking about this is our rebuild year for the business for 412 Productions as starting our business at the beginning of the year. Even though we've been an established business since about 2014, it was just under a different moniker and a different title. Now, with that being said, uh, once I shut down the old business of AGK and opened up 412 Productions, the Art of Monty Anderson, things have kind of taken off. They've kind of gone skyrocketed a little bit, which is what we wanted because we just felt like there was a lot of negativity with the old business, um, especially after going through a divorce. Whereas a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, we'll still support you no matter what," and then haven't. Not a single one of them has offered to get a commission since, and that's been about 3 years ago. So whenever I cut that business off and started 412 Productions, things started to go up, you know, and we're doing new things as well. T-shirts. We're doing these little pieces right here that you can stick on a tabletop or on a shelf. You know, if you're a horror lover, you know, I want to play a game. Lately, you haven't been buying enough commissions off of 412 Productions, and we need that to happen. So there you go. Coming from Billy the Puppet himself, right there. And so, right here, this is one of the items. It is on an actual saw blade. So, go figure. Saw on a saw blade. This is a actual saw blade. Right here. A real saw blade. You could actually cut some wood with it if you wanted to, but I wouldn't suggest it with the artwork that's on it. So that's Billy the Puppet from Saw. And then we have Art the Clown from Terrifier as well. And on this plaque, it says The Art of Art, painted in blood. Actually, it's just red paint, but you know, whatever you want to do. But right there, again, you can throw your pins on it if you want to. You can throw your keys on it if you want to. You know, whatever you want to stick on this, or you can just have it as an art piece in your house. You know, if you have it on an end table or whatever, you put your keys on it, it's not going to work. It's not going to scratch it all up because it is sealed. You know, it's been sealed and all that good stuff. And if you need a weapon in the house and you don't have one, boom, instant throwing star. Right there, instant throwing star. So there you go. You got two options right there, and I do have a clock made out of this one, out of Billy the Puppet, the other one. Now the girlfriend did get an Art the Clown from me for Christmas or her birthday. I can't remember which one now, but she is enjoying it because it is sitting in the bedroom on a shelf, collecting dust like all the rest of our stuff around here. That's why we don't need stuff, because it just sits here and collects dust. It's pretty to look at, but when it comes to, you know, functionality and stuff like that, most of them just stay in the box. You know, I'm not one of those that displays their action figure collection outside of the box. You know, all of mine are lined up in the shelf down the hallway right here to my right, and still in the box, except for the ones that didn't have a box or that I wanted to take out, which is very few and far between. So, pretty much my entire McFarlane collection of Batmans are still in the box. You know, you're just seeing the edge with which ones they are and all that good stuff. Now the other ones, the 1966 collection, they're lined up on the back wall, hanging behind the McFarlane collection series of action figures and things of that nature. But yeah, that hallway is loaded with. And sometimes, when there's a lot of junk in there, you run into the action figures and knock them off the wall. So there goes the resale value. But hopefully, you all are doing great out there. But we're looking at having a lot of fun when it comes to the different things that are happening. Now, what I was talking about originally, before I got sidetracked onto the action figures, was, you know, the whole newness of this being our rebuild year. Well, this might carry on into the 2026 season as well, because I don't know when I'm going to make my first appearance as 412 Productions. Because there's a lot of things in the works right now, as well as not just, you know, not just from an aspect of me restarting my brand or rebranding my business. There's also a lot of things in the works as far as sponsorships go. I might have some sponsors, but on that token, I would still have my name, 412 Productions. I would still have all my entities, but I would be under their moniker. Unlike a normal sponsorship, which, I put your business on my stuff, such as on my table cover, on my website. I talk about your business and things of that nature. So if you do want to be a sponsor, hit me up and we can talk, because sponsorship would take care of basically my booth rental is what the sponsorship would take care of. That's why I'm looking for those large established companies out there, a Walmart, a Ream, a Brisk Tea, V8, those type of things, those big corporations out there. And I do have some friends that are millionaires, and well-to-do, that have their own businesses that could be sponsors, and things of that nature. So, if you are one of those people that are a millionaire and you want to sponsor our business here, hit me up, because we are looking for sponsors on a regular basis. And like I said, I do have a sponsorship in the works, but I've just got to make sure it's the right fit, if that makes any sense. Because I don't want it to turn around and bite me in the ass later on. Because this company has had its share of issues, if you will. I haven't seen the full scale of it or what it all completely entails. And I'm not saying that they're not feeding me a bunch of bullshit either, you know. But on that same token, I want everything he's saying to be true when it comes to the sponsorship aspect of it, because that is the biggest payout, is your booth rental. And if this sponsorship works, he takes care of the booth rental by X amount of booths, because he would have one artist here, one artist here, one artist here, plus his own section going on. So, it's a lucrative deal. But again, I got to make sure that it is correct, that it is the right time, the right season, and the right thing to do, because of the personal issues this person has had previously to him asking me to become a partnership, or a sponsorship, not a partnership, but a sponsorship with his company, um, his entity. And so I've got to do my own research. I got to do my due diligence on all of this and make sure that it is the right avenue and the right approach. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. And I will do the same. Now, if you haven't done so already, I got to figure out which way I'm going. This is the right hand. Right here, you can go to my profile and you can follow me on all my other social medias: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which you're already here, and YouTube. On YouTube, it has my live recordings that I do here, just like my Facebook pages do. I have two different Facebook pages: my regular Facebook page, and then I also have my business page for 412 Productions. And if you go to my YouTube page, you're going to see some aspects of an incentive program that I am in works with Antarctic Press. Mr. Ben Dunn asked fellow bloggers out there to review their artwork, their comic books, or their graphic novels, or their trailers and things of that nature. And so that's what we've been doing. And it's not just me; it's several other people out there as well. So you can go check out those reviews. I try to give as honest a review as possible because I don't like everything that Antarctic Press produces, and I don't like every artist that they pull in. There's some, I'm not going to say crappy work, but it's borderline. You know, but on that same token, I can't really knock them because they're in a published book. You know, yes, I've got published covers out there. Yes, I've got some pinups out there, but I do not have a sequential comic book out there yet. Like these people do in Antarctic Press. But I will. I will. I've got that in the works. In fact, my contract is right here. So, and this is the script for it right here. Now that's that script. Now, my cousin's script is right here. You know, so I've got so many scripts in the works right now. It's not even funny, and it's awesome to have that problem. But it's also sucks because on that same token, you want to be working on your own product. You know, and so at every turn right now, I'm having to put my work, my comic book, on the back burner. You know, not that I want to, it's just because I have to. And, I'm seeing other creators out there that are saying, oh, I'm working like a madman, for the past 2 months now, and on this project, because I put out a call to, different people out there to keep me from working at Walmart as a door greeter for the summer, and those type things. And I get that. I worked at Walmart as AP, and it sucked. I mean, it was a great job, but the last 2 years that I worked there, they put a target on my back, you know, and other people saw it, not just me. So, I was justified in handing in my resignation letter with all my stuff, and but a lot of people still twisted that around. One of the guys that I used to work with, that I started in the AP business with, at one store, he was talking to another friend of mine who said, what's it like, knowing that he walked away from the company and is doing better now that he's outside the company and he's drawing his DAV and all that stuff. And he's like, he's not drawing DAV and he was fired. It's just like, wow, bitter much, because I walked away and am living life on my terms. I'm homesteading. I'm doing illustration 24/7. I can walk out the door and not have to punch a time clock. I can wake up whenever I want to, even though it's generally about 4. Well, it's generally about 3 in the morning sometimes. The girlfriend goes to work about 3:30, 3:45. And so I'm usually up before her, laying in bed, waiting for her alarm clock to go off. Not all the time, but most of the time. That's hence 412. 412 Productions, right there. That's a time. It's not from a Bible. It's not a quote. It's none of that stuff. It is 412 Productions, a time. 412 in the morning, 412 a.m. And so, with all that being said, to find out people twist the truth to fit their narrative, it's kind of hilarious. It's humorous. Um, and it just shows how truly bitter they are, as a person that you thought was a friend, you know. Because hell, I even stayed at his house for 2 months, when I was contemplating getting a divorce in 2017. But then we got back together, worked things out a little bit, and then ended up getting a divorce in 22, you know, 2022. And, been out here doing my thing. And then 2023 is when I walked away from the AP job, you know, and been better off for it in reality, health wise, sanity wise, all that good stuff. Yeah, I still have my demons. That's why I still see a therapist for the veteran side of things. And and I know on the girlfriend's aspect, I don't talk about it enough. Um, Emotions and feelings and all that stuff. So, but that's some things that I've got to work on, as we all do. You know, we can't all be heartless and cruel like I normally am. I don't have a heart anyway, so. But or so they say. Ask my girls who don't talk to me anymore since I got the divorce. But that's how it goes. So, but yeah, no, it's one fun aspect after another. Um, and I look forward to this ride, this journey that I'm on, because not many people can say that, you know, hey, I wake up and do my own thing. You know, I mean, most homeless people can do that. I get that. And there's been times that where it's become very close to where I could have been homeless. You know, another homeless vet on the streets. And if that was the case, I would have just gone to Alaska and been done. You know, disappear into the wilderness of Alaska and never be heard or seen from again. In reality, because cell phone service there is for shit. I do have a half sister that's there. She lives in Anchorage, and I've been contemplating going for a visit. You know, but then it's like, okay, so the girlfriend will be coming with me to Alaska, and we would have to have somebody house sit for a week uh, to feed the animals and all that good stuff. And it'd have to be somebody that we trusted to take care of that. You know, so but that's just those little aspects because you want to do things like that. I do anyway. I know she used to be that way, and I know that some aspects are holding her back, and she still wants to be there, and she still wants to do the traveling, you know, and it's just life is in the way. My life is freed up. Now, if I ever got rid of the animals, got rid of the chickens, the ducks, the geese, the turkey, the pigs, and just have the dogs and the possum, um, life could be a little easier because technically we could take the dogs with us. Technically, we could take the possum with us because the possum's lifespan is only 3 to 5 years tops. 3 years is the majority. Um, the dogs would be a null issue, to throw in the car and all that good stuff. And welcome to the show, finally, Mr. Roy Joe, Twinkle Toes, Sparkle Butt, Bradley, Twilight Lover Jr. About an hour late, 48 minutes into the show already, and you're finally showing up? What the fuck, dude? So, but yeah, no, we if we got rid of the chickens and all the ducks and all that stuff, life could be easier. You know, we could save money on chicken feed. We could save money on deworming the chickens. We could save money on this, that, and the other. But would life be as rewarding? You get all these people that go out and see the world on a regular basis. Well, they don't have anything at home. They don't have kids at home. They don't have responsibilities at home. Do they live in an apartment? Do they live out of an RV? Those type of things. I would be fine living out of an RV. You know, traveling from spot to spot. But the girlfriend couldn't do that right now. You know, she is confined to her job, unfortunately. And I'm not a multimillionaire where I can just say, okay, we'll pay off all of our debts together. Boom, done. I'm working on that aspect. I'm closer now than I ever have been. You know, but getting rid of the debts is the number one priority. I mean, I wish it was fixing up the house would be the number one priority, but that's not it. Uh, Things get in the way. You know, And so, we're looking forward to that true fun aspect coming down the pike when it boils down to it. And um, it is what it is on that aspect. Just because you want to have as much fun in life as possible. So you've got to create your fun. You've got to create that fun in life. You can't just let life tear you down and keep piling bricks on top of you, layer upon layer upon layer, until you've just got one little hand out there crying for help, because life has buried you under. You've got to take life by the balls and move forward, with everything. And you don't want to be bogged down with so much life that you're not living, you know. And I see that a lot. A lot of people get so bogged down with life, with family, with responsibilities, that they forget how to live. And I've done that myself. So I'm pointing all the fingers at me, including the thumbs. So everything is pointing at me because I am guilty of doing those things myself, you know. And that's where you've got to navigate in life to push past some of those life barriers so that you can actually live life instead of being weighed and pulled down by life on a regular basis that you can't breathe, you know. It's like me with the business. I didn't finally start living until I dropped my letter of resignation on my boss's desk and gave him the one finger salute on the way out the door and was like, enjoy, you know? And it's like there was a huge weight just release from my shoulders once I dropped my letter of resignation on the desk. And good morning, Mr. Roy Joe, Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt, Bradley, Twilight Lover Jr. You're only an hour late to the show. We're 52 minutes in already. And the show will be ending in about 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm glad you could show up. Are you just now waking up, buddy? Or are you perusing all your other socials and not wanting to stop over here until it was time? So, but yes, I was letting life bog me down because I had to go punch a time clock on a regular basis. And on that aspect, it was like I wasn't living. I was going through the motions of what living looked like, you know. And but like I said, once I dropped that letter of resignation on the desk, it was like a weight just lifted off my shoulders, you know. Ah, you just woke up. Well, finally, working. You're living some real hours of life where you actually wake up in the morning time. Whoa! You better get that pizza buried under the ranch and live some life there, buddy. But I'm glad you got some sleep. I mean, one of us did anyway. The pigs were a little crazy last night, getting up at midnight and then her going to work at 2 in the morning, so her alarm clock going off at like 1:15, 1:20, whatever time it was. I've been up since. Barely got back to sleep from the 12:20 or whatever it was. You know, slot. But we've been talking about having fun with life. All the goody good stuff in life that you gotta have fun with. You can't let life bog you down. And we've been talking about the artwork. We've been talking about the other shirts. We've been talking about all these different contracts coming in to do artwork and just having fun with life. And that's what life is meant to be. Life isn't there to hinder us, even though that's what it has turned into for most people. Because not everybody can get on the lives. Not everybody can. Well, thank you for that. Not everybody can go live their dream because they are chained, shackled to a job that won't let them go. Um, and so many people have to live in that reality. Unless you become a homeless person on the streets, which you see on a regular basis. I mean, hell, there's one at Walmart on Rogers Avenue that gets out of a nicer vehicle than I drive, and I'm a disabled veteran. And he has his wife drop him off in the parking lot in front of Candy Craze. He gets out, she helps him, gets his wheelchair out of the back, rolls it up to the side of the car. He gets in it, and then he rolls himself. He doesn't have any legs. He rolls himself out by the McDonald's and um, the intersection of Rogers Avenue and the entrance into Walmart right there by the McDonald's. And he sits there and gets his $800 from people a day or whatever it is or $800 or $900 in a week. I don't know what it is. I've heard some crazy stories of what people can make in a day um, doing that type of a thing. And so I can't knock the guy. I mean, he's working in a way, uh, but not in the same way that I used to work, or you work, or people that are at work right now work. You know, so but you've also got to look at it as he's being very dishonest because apparently he is drawing in a good paycheck, or he wouldn't have. I mean, now he could be in complete debt as well as most Americans are because of credit card debt, loan debts, school debts, so on and so forth down the list. But it's like, but for him to get dropped off by his wife in a, let's just say a 2023 vehicle, an SUV, and it's white, by the way. I couldn't tell you the make and model right off the top of my head. I've only seen it once. And her getting the wheelchair out of the back and then wheeling it up to the door on the passenger side, him getting into the wheelchair and then wheeling himself out by McDonald's and Rogers Avenue at the entrance to where the entrance exit is at Walmart. You know, it's just like that's very dishonest, 100%. But again, a lot of people are dishonest in this world, you know. Have I ever been dishonest? Of course I have, you know. And because you always want yourself to look good in the best light possible. You don't want to be looking like the villain in anybody's story. But now, I know my ex-wife has painted me as the villain in her story. That's why my own kids won't even talk to me, because of what her truth is, you know. So, and they haven't even asked me what my truth is, what my side of the story is, you know. You want to see this shirt? You need this shirt in your life. It's the last Ronin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You need the other 20 shirts that you haven't gotten yet as well. So you need to place that order and get them all. You know, it's like Pokemon. You got to catch all my artwork. So like Pokemon, you got to catch all my artwork. In all of the shirt forms. And I'm getting ready to add about 17 more to this list that we've got going on here. And every one of these, like I said before, will have a 11 by 17 print and a 16 by 20 canvas print as well. And from now on, I will not be wearing anybody else's shirts on my lives. I will have enough shirts that every live will be a different shirt, you know. But I mean, they will cycle back around, as we go and progress. So, and I appreciate it there, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. On another great looking shirt, buddy. I appreciate it. That's all we want to produce is great looking shirts, awesome looking shirts, as you put it there. So, but that's what we're doing is we are putting our shirts out there. Not just the shirts, but the artwork itself. Which we do have a big art sale going on right now from all of our previous works in house. Get them while you can. We've already been selling some here left and right, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we started out with the creepy factor of the doll that we picked up. Then we went to the tablet that we picked up, which hopefully I will be having working tomorrow, to where it's supposed to be working. So that's what we're looking for in that endeavor. But I'm going to leave you guys, and you guys have a great day. I've got some artwork to do. I got some people to contact back that have already hit me up this bright and early in the morning. So it is 4:49 a.m. We've been on for an hour already, which is crazy. But no, we do an hour show all the time, unless something happens like the pigs wake up and cause a commotion, and we have to go take care of them and all that good stuff. But I appreciate each and everybody being here. Make sure you like, share, and follow. And I appreciate the gifts and all that stuff. All that money that Meta pays me or TikTok pays me goes right back into printing of product. It does not, or keeping the lights on or whatever. It does not go into fun stuff. Let's just put it that way. I mean, now getting prints and shirts and things like that is fun, but you know, you would like to take a trip on some of that money, but I won't be doing that on 10 cents. But I appreciate each and everybody out there. Make sure you guys live life and don't let it bog you down. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.